Welcome everyone. Welcome to Cigniti and ZBA Labs webinar on accelerating digital transformation with DevOps. As we all know, consumers are demanding rich and adaptable features for their ever-changing needs, and digital transformation has become an imperative for all organizations. Organizations need to maintain a rigorous and delicate balance between speed and quality. So transforming ourselves into a DevOps culture is emerging as a fundamental pillar to attain speed at quality. Without taking a lot of time, I would like to introduce the speakers of this webinar who would be talking about how do you accelerate your digital transformation journey with DevOps. The first speaker is Mr. Kalyan Rao Konda. He is the president of Cigniti Technologies. He is a software industry veteran and an agile software testing expert. At Cigniti, Kalyan spends a lot of time in understanding client expectations, their feedbacks, and requirements, and also helps clients develop and envisage their roadmaps. He's a strong proponent of IP-led testing services. And Kalyan also has a patent which is pending in the area of intelligent test scenario generation to accelerate software testing lifecycle. The second speaker for the day is Mr. Sunil Mavadia. He is the Director of Customer Success at ZBA Labs. Sunil brings deep experience with DevOps initiatives and having led major DevOps transition projects with his previous company as well. At ZBA Labs, Sunil works very closely with customers to ensure successful implementation of ZBA Labs DevOps platform. Hi, Kalyan. I would like to pass it on to you so that you can take it forward with the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Subhendu. Thanks for the nice introduction. And I welcome all the participants into the webinar. And it is my pleasure to be speaking with you all and getting right into the session. And we will spend a little bit of time explaining who we are as a company. And then we would then get into the digital transformation and what we are seeing in the marketplace and the kind of impact that it is having on the testing discipline and on the test teams, and how organizations need to transform themselves to deal with this whole digital transformation and basically leverage the digital transformation trend to improve the overall business outcomes. And when it comes specifically about testing, we would talk about how the test teams are reorganizing themselves. And in terms of the organization structure, we would also spend time talking about the new types of testing that had to be done in the digital transformation space, and we would also talk about the role of test data, test environments, and also the test tools. And we would also spend a little bit of time and explaining about BlueSwan. BlueSwan is a Cigniti's proprietary IP testing platform, and what are some of the aspects of this testing IP related to the digital transformation. In terms of the company, Cigniti is the largest independent testing services company in North America, and we are actually growing tremendously, and we do have presence in multiple continents. And we are a highly process-oriented company. We're a CMMI level 5, and our strength is our testing IP, which we had built over a period of many years. And as we speak right now, Cigniti is the strategic long-term testing partner for 50+ Fortune companies. Okay, so we're going to get into the digital transformation, and So most of the times when we talk about digital transformation, what we hear is that it is all about the technology aspects of digital transformation. So it's about leveraging the new technologies. Yes, to an extent that is true. However, it is not the technology per se that is driving the digital transformation. So most of the organizations do realize about the improving customer experience journeys, and the digital transformation exactly addresses that aspect. The digital transformation, the goal is to improving the customer experience journey by modeling the end user behavior, and in that process leverage some of the newer technologies such as social, mobile, analytics, cloud, and other technologies like artificial intelligence and things like that. So the goal of the digital transformation initiatives is all about assuring high level customer experience, and by making use of a lot of these digital technologies. In terms of the digital technologies per se, I mean, Xebia Labs has got some cool products in this space, and I would really request you all to check out their products. And digital technologies definitely are disrupting many industries in a big way, because some of these technologies are transforming the overall business models. And every one of you, I'm sure, is familiar with Amazon, and Amazon is a real life example of a company that had leveraged the latest technologies, and was able to put out many of these traditional brick and mortar retail companies out of the business. So irrespective of whichever industry that you are in, ultimately you are a software company, and if you're a software company, then you are a digital company right now. So the digital transformation, essentially, to summarize, it is all about how do we improve the overall customer experience journey, and then translate that to business outcomes, and do that through leveraging the digital technologies. In terms of and as you could see that that there are several industries that are on the forefront of leveraging digital technologies: retail, banking, healthcare, travel, hospitality. Think of a domain and think about top 3-4 players in each of those industry domain, and they're all leveraging digital technologies to really improve the customer experience. And here is an example in terms of the retail domain, how it looks like. As you could see, the earlier, probably say 4 or 5 years before, and the entire customer experience or the interaction is delivered mainly through the portals and the browser portal and web portals. And if you look at it right now, there are a lot more components or the different channels that are involved in delivering that end user experience. Of course, we still have these web portals, but beside that, we now have the mobile apps, and then we do have these mobile apps are also interacting with wearables, and then there are virtual stores that are built on using cloud technologies. So if you look at it, the overall technology system is now much more complex and leverages multiple technologies, both on-premise as well as the cloud-based solutions, and definitely the IoT and wearables. So in a system like this, when the industries are transforming themselves, and QA is often seen as an impediment to be able to support these multiple technologies, because because of the way the traditional testing is being done. So in going forward, we would talk about some of the aspects that QA needs to transform so that that we are relevant, and then we are coping up and then staying ahead of the game when it comes to supporting the digital transformation that is happening at the very at the industry level. And if you really look at the role of QA, traditionally is assuring that the requirements that the system is supposed to deliver is being met or not, and the customer experience is never really the goal of the QA team. But then with the advent of digital transformation, the responsibility on QA is increasing, and it needs to validate and provide assistance to business teams that the customer experience is improving with each and every release. And also that if you some of these digital transformation within our clients, many of these digital information initiatives are also championed by CMO, the chief marketing officers, where yes, CMOs would be interested in knowing whether the product or the application is meeting the overall customer needs or not from the functionality point of view. But one key thing that is important to them is that our customers having good experience of interacting with the systems, and are we creating enough stickiness so that they would keep coming back and then use the products and applications. So this is what they're looking for. And also that in terms of the QA teams, most of the times are really good in terms of providing the quality of the systems in a quantitative manner using different metrics and measurement. However, most of the information is that is being put together is explaining about what has happened in the past. It does not really tell us what is likely to happen in the future. So a lot of these digital transformation initiatives are looking at QA to provide information about what is likely to happen given the past data. The data could be defects, data could be schedules, data could be adhering to timelines, productivity, and things like that. So what the different stakeholders are looking for is the predictive analytics. And the predictive analytics are also very important, given that many of the organizations right now are simultaneously trying multiple ideas. If you had used Google Maps, you would see that some of the ways that they display traffic information is different for one user in comparison with the other user. So what they're really trying to do is that they're actually doing a live customer experience testing. They're actually, every time that you're using their product, they're subjecting you through customer experience testing in their production systems, and thereby tracking information, and then doing A/B testing to be able to pick up what is something that the users are having a better experience compared to others. So the organizations are looking at QA to be able to provide that predictive analytics information. And I would spend some time in terms of some of the things that are relevant in the digital transformation space, particularly are, one thing is that so with the advent of digital information, a lot of organizations are using mobile apps to conduct their business end to end. And And there is a lot of information that is available on App Store and Google Play Store, and this is basically all the content that is generated by the end users in the form of comments. And at Cigniti, we had developed a sentiment analyzer. This is basically a tool that could actually go through this constant stream of information, and then we are able to build a live dashboard that actually would tell you instantly about the things that the customers are liking, not liking, and they want more of. And also that unlike in the earlier days where we were actually doing this test automation for different applications and modules for certain scenarios, the view is more from a system point of view, not necessarily from a customer point of view. So many of our existing enterprise clients are looking for automating those test scenarios that actually traverses through the end-to-end customer experience journey, and then have these tests run in a 24/7 mode, so that the organizations have a better feel for the overall customer experience journey, almost on a 24/7 mode. And also, while in the traditional manner, there is a lot of this usability testing that is done. It is done from the perspective of the screen colors and the screen fonts, and then making sure that they are consistent throughout the application and things like that. But then one aspect that the end users are looking for is persona-based test strategy, which essentially means that recognize that the digital presence of these applications are going to be used by people of different characteristics. So you basically group your end users into multiple groups, and then actually design test that would cater to these multiple groups of people and their personas, and then gain experience to make sure that the digital applications that are being built has got the capability and also is giving the desired user experience that is required. And if you really look at it, the DevOps is all about try fast, fail fast, and recover fast. And it really gives an opportunity for the organizations to combine agility and innovation in the right manner. And QA is often seen as an impediment that slows the entire process. This is often true if the QA teams are doing their testing in a manual testing manner and not leveraging enough automation. And when I say the word automation, it does not mean that just automating the features of the application or the products. And what I'm talking about is lifecycle automation. This is just not automating the screens of the application product. It is about automating the multiple activities that happen within the testing lifecycle, and the activities that we could think of are can we actually execute these automated tests in an automated manner, do the kicking off this test in an automated manner as opposed to manually starting it. And is there a way that we can provision the test data using self-serving web portals? Can we provision the environments based on the need, as opposed to placing a request weeks in advance and then having a time window, a pre-reserved time window only during the phase where you can execute the test? Ability to have the environments as and when you need it, and then use it, and then destroy it. And distribute the test results through email pushes and mobile notifications, as opposed to receiving them through emails. So what we're talking about is that how test teams can automate some of their activities so that we are enabling the entire process of DevOps as opposed to slowing it down. So to summarize, the test teams need to enable DevOps teams to achieve high quality with better speed. And we will talk about some of the aspects of how teams can do that. So just continuing with the philosophy of lifecycle automation and using this approach, we would be able to implement both shift left and also shift right approaches, and which is basically your dual shift quality engineering approach. The shift left approach would ensure that the quality is built into the system, and this is basically achieved through conducting tests that assures code quality. When we say code quality, we are talking about things like developing unit test, doing static code analysis, and then integrating this the static code analysis test within the CI/CD environment, so that for every time that there is a build that is being checked in, these tests are run on a continuous fashion. And the shift right approach ensures that we are bringing an outside view of the systems, and the IT systems are doing what they are supposed to do from an end user point of view, also not just from the requirement standpoint. And typical activities that are done on the shift right approach would include running your automated tests on a 24/7 fashion on production systems, and also doing the production monitoring for both performance and security checks. And in terms of the overall DevOps transformation journey, it is about most of the times we are really talking about here how can we improve the effectiveness of the testing, and then run tests in a way that they actually give you highest coverage, and also has the ability to run all these tests in a multi-machine parallel execution model, as opposed to doing them in a sequential mode. So, and that is the reason why the quality engineering approach of doing early testing is really critical. And then in terms of the organizations, you would have seen typically that we have this one monolithic TCOE where everybody is part of it, and then some of the team members of the TCOE are being blown to different projects, and they would finish the projects and come back. And what we started seeing in the organizations is that that model is slightly shifting. Now it is all about practice centers of excellence, meaning that actually the organizations are investing and developing skills in some of these areas that are very relevant in the digital engineering technologies, such as performance engineering, test automation, and security engineering, and making sure that as far as the competency is concerned, this practice center of excellence is what provides that competency. However, in terms of the executing the projects, they are sitting together with the project teams and working together, and however applying the concepts, tools, and the frameworks from the practice centers of excellence. And also that a lot of organizations had gone down this path of standardizing the tools, and then really making sure that everybody uses the same tool. But we think in a DevOps kind of a situation, the tool itself is not really the end by itself. The end goal is to be able to enable DevOps teams so that they can make releases faster and make sure that those releases are of high quality. In that process, if Yeah, and we what we are seeing is that a lot more organizations are encouraging the use of both open source and commercial test tools in space, and then really leveraging more tools, and all the way from the code analysis um, till the provisioning and the deployment of the production systems. And test and runs is one big thing, and basically this is all about traditionally the organizations had one group. This group is really responsible for managing the test environments, and there is this huge communication overhead between test teams and this centralized test environment management team. And what we are seeing and recommending to our clients is that basically make changes to this whole test environment management strategy in a way that you are actually putting power with the end user, with the test engineer, that they have the full ability to spin the environments as and when they need, and then use it for the time period that they would like, and be able to destroy it later on. So without this, you are essentially, the QA team is becoming an impediment in terms of the speed at which things need to be done. And there are certain IP that were built that enables the high quality and a better speed. And one of the IP, the cool IP that were built, is a quality engineering platform. The quality engineering platform has the ability to reach out to the multiple tools that are there in the overall IT ecosystem, and it has the ability to pick up the relevant information from different tools and provide real-time dashboard about the overall the speed, quality, and coverage aspects of the entire system. Of course, there are other cool stuff that we had built that actually helps you to have a unified test automation framework across technologies, across different applications that you could do. And for those of you who are interested, you could visit Cigniti.com, and then you'd be able to read about this stuff. So that is my part, and I would like to hand it over to Sunil, and he would talk about the Xebia Labs and how they are really enabling the digital transformation using DevOps methodologies.
Thanks, Kalyan. Appreciate it. For those folks that came in a little late and probably didn't hear our introductions, this is Sunil Mavadia. I work for Xebia Labs. The speaker before me was Kalyan, and he's the president at Cigniti. Kalyan talked intensively about testing. What I'm going to do is really just introduce you guys to Xebia Labs, what we do, and how we glue together a lot of these systems in your DevOps toolchain. Okay. So Xebia Labs, known for its enterprise DevOps platform, and what we address really are three very specific areas. One is release automation, or release orchestration, deployment automation, and analytics. Release is done by our product Excel Release. Deployment automation is done through Excel Deploy, and our analytics product is called Excel Impact. Xebia Labs is ranked #1 by both Gartner and Forrester. So if you see those reports in the ARA field, we're on the top right corner. We are the leader, technology leader and authority in continuous delivery and DevOps. We are a global company with customers like Expedia that you see up there, KLM being our very first customer, EA, Paychex, KeyBank. Xebia Labs started out in 2008 with just one product, and that was Excel Deploy. And over the years, we've released 2 additional products. As you can see, we're not only a fairly new company, but we have the market in application release automation. Another slide of our customers. As you can see, a lot of them are finance industries. We are not restricted to one industry at all. If you develop software, Exhibia Labs is your glue. Once again, top ranked. If you look at reports from both 2016 and 2017, Exhibia Labs is in the top right corner. And we are the leading DevOps platform. So why do you need ARA? Really, it's all about scalability. And Kalyan was talking a lot about validation and the different digital ecosystems. But ARA solutions, according to Gartner, are typically targeted to replace and or incorporate a combination of manual processes, homegrown scripts, CCA tools, overextended CI systems. So what is the benefit behind an ARA solution? Basically, it glues all these systems together to provide you with enough data, enough metrics to make some data-driven decisions. Think of the myriad of test tools that you would potentially connect to Blue Swan, right? Blue Swan is a Cigniti solution. But if you look at a typical organization, not only are there multiple test tools, but multiple teams using different test tools. And so gathering that information for a release manager is ultimately important. So they spend a lot of time walking around asking people, whereas solutions from Exhibia Labs basically would let you grab that data through our pluggable architecture, grab that data and present it to the release manager or the test team lead or the QA engineer, anybody that needs access to that data. For those of you that have seen this, look at it again. This is the DevOps, the periodic table of DevOps tools. This was developed by Exhibia Labs and really gives you a good idea of all the different categories that you see within the DevOps tools market. This is an interactive table, so feel free to poke around on exhibialabs.com. A great tool. A sister tool to this one is the pipeline generator. You basically plug in your tools, and it generates a pipeline diagram for you. The DevOps adoption wave. This you see a lot when people start looking at their different transformations. So from a digital transformation perspective, think about what your company has gone through. You started off potentially with agile transformation. It quickly followed with a DevOps transformation. And then the company at the business layer saw that they needed a much larger digital transformation. But that also involved a lot of ups and downs, especially when you start looking at test tools, various IaaS, PaaS systems that that are starting to enable both internal, external cloud, hybrid cloud, or just platforms like AWS or Azure. The scale basically says that at some point you hit a scalability wall because you spent too much time trying to manage your pipeline through scripting or programming or trying to connect these systems, right? And so your standardization efforts go down, your collaboration goes down or is non-existent because it's very difficult to connect all these systems together, right? But to scale it back up, you definitely need something that overarches all these systems, something that is able to orchestrate all these systems and grab data from them. And that is where you start talking about DevOps at enterprise scale. So usually when you start looking at how DevOps ended up becoming serious, right? People were talking about it. There was a whole agile movement, DevOps movement, digital transformation movement. But it wasn't until recently that DevOps really got serious. So with digital transformation and the DevOps transformation, that whole scale strategically initiative started to climb up just over the last 2 years. We've been at the forefront of that. So how does the transformation adoption timeline fit your needs? You have to ask the question, do I really need to know everything that's happening from a release perspective? Well, sure you do. If you're a manager, if you're an executive, you're a team lead, even the developer at the most technical layer has a need to know where their code lies and what the test results are, right? Usually there's a handoff in large organizations. But if you start looking at how you abstract the needs of every organization, there's the typical lower layer DevOps needs, which are then superimposed by the enterprise requirements. And then at the very top are those executive, those business needs, right? You have to ask yourself, how much data does the executive care for? And what kind of data? Those dashboards, those metrics are ultimately important. How did my release do? What were the test results for that release? Did it make it to production? If it made it to production, how many issues did it spin up? Do we have monitoring enabled? Those are the questions that you need to ask, right? And it's always nice to have a singular view into your world of applications that you push out to production. So how are companies evaluating their progress, right? This could be the DevOps or the digital transformation. Of course, they need internal process experts, agile coaches, and to this, I'll actually add also test experts, right? Obviously, because we talk about tools like Blue Swan that provide you a very, very comprehensive look into the digital ecosystem. If you look at Kalyan's slides earlier, he talked about the mobile platform, the cloud platform, analytics. Those are all critical places that everybody's moving towards, right? So you need those experts. All these things about manual data, you can see that I have incomplete, they're expensive, they're inconsistent, subjective, disjointed, and infrequent, right? And this is usually where most of your time is spent because you don't have more comprehensive automated systems. And so you spend time on spreadsheets, manual data collection, homegrown or generic dumb dashboards, right? Lots and lots of retrospectives because things happen and people have to go back and find out why it happened. So there's a lot of time spent evaluating stuff like that. Of course, what are your challenges limiting DevOps today? Standardization is one of the biggest things. Kalyan talked about, standardization environment, standardization, test standardization. We take it even a step further, and we say, go and standardize your entire, process of code going from development to production. It says test to production. I say shift left, just like Kalyan said. That's where your quality is, right? The other challenge, DevOps in reality is limited to developers. It doesn't have to be. So your transformation, whether it's DevOps or digital, really includes all process participants, everybody from development all the way up to operations and business and compliance and security. Okay. Another challenge is DevOps efforts are not transferable from one technology project to another. However, we think that if you can reuse and implement across all apps and environments, then you have a standard process that can be cookie cuttered to all your other applications, right? So it doesn't matter whether you're a containered application or your mainframe application. They're all connected and use the same process. Of course, what we've seen over and over again through experience is that scripts are impossible to scale. And so how do we provide a better option? We provide a more efficient, highly efficient, and scalable model that's model-based, it's agentless, it's dual mode, okay? Another challenge is that in practice, developer flexibility takes priority over security, compliance, and governance. That should never be the case, right? Security, compliance, governance should always be at the forefront of your quality. And that's that whole shift left approach. And you can only do that by having a standardized process that everybody uses, including your developers, more self-service builds and controls just to apply those policies. And the lack of visibility is another challenge. So how do you provide those unmatched release visibility, insight, predictability for decision support? You do that by providing very clean, data-driven decision metrics through the Exebia Labs Enterprise DevOps platform. So purely talking from a product perspective on what Exebia Labs offers, we have a tool called Excel Release for release orchestration, another tool called Excel Deploy for deployment automation, and our most recent release is Excel Impact, which is for intelligence. Basically, it's all the analytics, the data that comes out of your DevOps tools. They get fed into Excel Impact, and it provides you a model-based KPI system that lets you get metrics and data analytics, on your entire process. We are the most comprehensive ERA solution on the market. It's meant for any architecture. So we have a pluggable architecture which allows you to connect to mainframe, hybrid clouds, so you can deploy, your not only your legacy apps, but your more current applications like microservices, etc. It complements existing tools. And so when we connect to tools like Blue Swan or from Cigniti, your CI tools like Jenkins, your infrastructure tools like Puppet, Chef, Ansible, you basically have the ability to maintain integrity of your DevOps pipeline and providing one interface to everybody for pushing their applications through to production with checks and balances. We are an agentless architecture, what that basically means is that you don't have to worry about software updates on target hosts, etc. Everything is driven through SSH or WinRM. So we are the top-ranked enterprise technology. We deal with not only your legacy code, whether it's apps, mainframe, etc., all the way up through to containers. This is your new greenfield type architectures. Clear dashboards, detailed analytics. Sorry about that. Open continuous delivery platform, and basically is designed to manage people, process, and tools. A clean, crisp release automation, through templates, standardized templates, to basically give you guys push button rollbacks and deployments. Integrated dependency management. Obviously this is important when you have a very, very large application infrastructure. So just to take Kalyan's example, we talked about mobile platforms, cloud platforms, analytics. If you start just distilling the number of tools, test tools that you have, just for the mobile platform, and then you add test tools for your legacy platform, and then test tools for your cloud platform, all that data has to go somewhere, right? So Exebia Labs gives you that opportunity. We're model-based and agentless. That basically means that there's no agents on your target host. It saves you a lot of time, effort to keep those agents updated. And it's model-based. Obviously, we standardize on the whole release and deployment models, and by eliminating scripting, or brittle snowflakes, as they're called, right? And it basically makes your entire process more scalable. Obviously, everybody's looking for a very high impactful ROI. These are some of the ROIs we've seen. 45% reduction in time to market, 10% in savings in operation costs, extreme improved release time, deployment times fall by 50%, and have realized 656% increase in the number of total software deployments. That's just amazing. We have large customers like American Express that actually, anywhere from 400,000 to 500,000 releases per year, which is just incredible. And that's what I have for you guys. I think we're going to be open for questions and answers, Kalyan.
Yeah, yes, Sunil, definitely.
Great. And are there any questions? Let's see. Kalyan, you want to pick a question if there is one? I don't see any questions, Kalyan, do you?
No, I don't see it either.
Great. I am done. And if there are no questions, this was a great webinar. I'm hoping that anybody that does have questions, feel free to reach out to me or Kalyan. You guys can find me for sure. I'm a very public person. So, you're free to reach out to me or to Cigniti. We hope you had, got some good information out of this. And it was great chatting about it. Kalyan, anything to add?
Thank you, Sunil. Thank you for participating and for a great lecture. And I'd like to thank all the participants.
Same here. Thank you, everybody. Hi, this is Sunil. We seem to have a couple of questions here. We did not do a demonstration of the Exhibia Labs tools. So if you want to see that, feel free to reach out to me. Question says, can we use DevOps to any domain? Yes, you can. You can definitely. DevOps is a cultural change, a mind shift. It's not something that you apply to domain, but what you can do is practice it to any domain. Okay, and I'm happy to expand on that for you, but it doesn't really matter whether you're in the cloud, whether you're local, whether you're legacy, whether you're new. DevOps is something that can be applied to any domain. Mahesh, you had a question on Excel deploy. Feel free to write it or ask me after. Suresh asks if I can go over the periodic table. Let me see if I can go back to the periodic table. Where is my periodic table? All right, so the periodic table is broken down into categories. You can see software CM, continuous integration, deployment, cloud IaaS, PaaS, BI, repo management, deployment management, release management, security, containerization, build, and testing. Those are just to name a few categories, but those colors mean a category. And basically, if you click on one of these boxes, it goes. It tells you a little bit about the tool. Exhibia Labs' philosophy is not to rip and replace, but really to complement. And we sit above all these tools. One at the top, Excel Release to orchestrate, and Excel Deploy sitting at the bottom to really move the bits from environment to environment. Excel Deploy also provides you that rollback facility that's important, okay? And those are the questions that I see so far. I hope I answered some of your questions at least. By the way, the periodic table is available live on exhibialabs.com. So just do a search for DevOps periodic table of DevOps tools, and it should be up there. Okay.